Trump is saying, you don't just sort of regard him as a spectacle, but you really listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's basically portraying a future for America if he is put back in the White House in which we don't have another election after that. That he wants to put MSNBC on trial for treason so that he can execute this.
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Leftist Extremism. In another week where the whole world is addressing the real issue of Hamas terrorism, the leftist media is simply living in its own pretend world, one that they claim is threatened by a former GOP president.
That he wants to put MSNBC on trial for treason so that he can execute us.
Two mighty beacons of falsehood and idiocy combine as The View is joined by Rachel Maddow this week, who provided no evidence to back up her claim that Trump wants MSNBC hosts executed.
He's basically portraying a future for America if he is put back in the White House in which we don't have another election after that.
And all the View hosts agree. Why? Well, they don't like what Trump has to say. No other evidence is necessary. CBS's Margaret Brennan was stunned this week when presented with the concept of equal justice for both Democrats and Republicans.
To be clear here, though, are you saying that President Biden had top secret and TSSCI classification level documents in his personal home?
That's public already, Margaret. That is, so I'm not confirming something that people don't already know. That is correct.
Okay, so I think you're saying that he should be indicted when you say treated the same?
I think they need to be treated exactly the same. Now, they're continuing their investigation with President Biden. I don't think if President Biden, in the end, has been found to violate the law, and I believe from what I've seen that he has, that he should be treated any differently than Donald Trump.
She seems so befuddled. I mean, why would the Justice Department want to treat a Democrat the same as a Republican for doing the same thing?
I think you're saying that he should be indicted when you say treated the same?
It's a foreign thought for the media, but this is a media that is willing to immediately embrace the claims of Hamas terrorists regarding an explosion at a hospital this week.
Hamas blamed Israel, saying the strike is a result of what they called unlimited U.S. support for Israel. It triggered international condemnation. Egypt, Qatar, Iran, Jordan, and Turkey among the countries who've denounced the airstrike.
The Israelis, of course, denounced it too, showing evidence that a misfired Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket caused the explosion at the hospital. And that's something the media eventually kind of got around to mentioning, but they weren't too sure if they believed it.
We should also say that this kind of death toll is not what you normally associate with Palestinian rockets. These rockets are dangerous, they are deadly. They do not tend to kill hundreds of people in a single strike in the way that Israeli high explosives, especially these bunker buster bombs that are used to target these Hamas tunnels under Gaza City, do have the potential to kill hundreds of people. And we should say finally that there are instances in the past where the Israeli military has said things in the immediate aftermath of an incident that have turned out not to be true in the long run.
The media felt much more initial comfort with running the claims from actual terrorists.
People are very angry, and of course nothing can be more embarrassing than a deliberate war crime of an Israeli airstrike killing civilians and killing innocent children and women.
Which sparked, once again, those famous, mostly peaceful protests that the media just loves.
Hundreds of people gathering, some protesters even attempting to storm the Israeli embassy. So we have seen a bit of an increase in the security presence here, although it has been mostly peaceful.
One would simply be amazed how peaceful it is when hundreds try to storm your embassy.
Hundreds of people gathering, some protesters even attempting to storm the Israeli embassy.
But the media is so sure that they aren't the ones with a credibility problem.
But amid all of this, we have already watched as the Arab world in particular has already made up their mind about the situation. And that is something that Israel is certainly fighting against. And they're fighting against it because they have had a credibility problem in the past.
Yeah, it's not the leftist media's incessant lies that brought about those numbers in the latest Gallup poll. The only thing lower than the trust in the media right now is the bar that they set for Democrats. President Biden receiving high praise from PBS because, well, he didn't join the squad and praise and defend terrorists. So it's basically his greatest week ever.
Rules of war. I thought this was one of Joe Biden's best weeks as president. You know, he was a voice of moral clarity. He was one of the early voices to remind everybody that what Hamas has become looks like ISIS, sort of a death cult. He did in the face of divisions on the left. There are a lot of mainstream liberals who are appalled by what happened. There are more progressive voices, many who think this is a legitimate part of decolonization.
Well, Joe didn't side with Hamas. It's his best week ever, right? I imagine he'll get even more praise from the media this week. If not, I'm sure he'll just take it on the chin, though.
You talk about the impact of meeting the survivors and the first responders.
That's all personal. Look, I spent an hour and a half about with 17 or 18 before some of them, and I don't know how to say this. Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken with them. I learned a long time ago, which you've all learned in your life as well.
What is up with that? I'm Eric Shiner for MRC-TV, asking you to head over to the MRC homepage, click on that donate button to help keep videos like this one coming. Go to MRC-TV for the latest in information, entertainment, and videos, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos on social media sites that actually let you see them. We'll be back next week with another look at leftist media insanity.